Comments or questions on this? Member Bottom.
Yes, thank you, Chair, and through you. The purpose of this is to establish the terms of engagement between Deloitte and the Police Services Board that will determine the basis for the 2017 year-end audit approach. Leafing through the materials provided, there's a KPMG report for year-end December 31st, which has standard dialogue, but then at the end of the audit, they offer an opinion, and the opinion is, and I'm quoting, "The financial statements fairly represent in all material respects the statement of financial position as of December 31st, 2011, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera." So it was an audit and allowed them to make a decision or make an opinion or bring forward an opinion that says that the statements are properly representing the financial position of the service. Next is a report from KPMG, year-end December 31st, 2015. The opinion in this audit is that the statement of operations is prepared in all material respects in accordance with the basis of accounting described in Note 1. So that would suggest that we've conducted 2 audits for 2 entirely separate purposes, eliciting 2 entirely separate and distinct opinions. One opinion is on whether or not we followed an accounting process. The second one is a comment on whether or not the accounting and the presentation of financial position is fairly representing the conditions of the service. So I think we got to make a decision as to why we're conducting an audit. Are we auditing the process, or are we auditing the financial position of the service? Thank you. And it appears, based on history, we've done both. Thanks.
Chief, do they have a response to this?
I'll refer to Lisa for that question. Thanks.
So I think you're looking at 2 different reports. So in 2011 was when we used to report, our financial statements used to be restated, and put into a specific accounting statement that met all the FASB rules and the accounting policies of FASB rules. What happened was that statement first of all, that statement was unnecessary because we're audited with the region. And so the region and we came to the board and asked to not do that audited statement anymore and just to do an audit of our statement of revenues and expenditures in the format that we report to the region, because it was a lot of time to restate our operating statement. So you're looking, the reason that they're different is because the first one is done restating our entire financial statement, keeping to meet all the rules of that type of audit. And the second one is because we asked for specific engagement just on our revenue and expenditures as reported to the regional municipality of Niagara. Neither one of these reports is necessary. The board chose to have an audit of our statements, which we support, but we had asked with the regional staff at the same time, and I think that board report's in here, to just report on our statement the way we present to regional council, because it makes more sense. What used to happen is we would have to restate it and prepare an additional report to explain the differences, and it was quite expensive for something that's not required. Oh yeah, and it was quite confusing, the chief said.
Yeah, I understand that, and I read the literature, and I understand where you're coming from. All I'm highlighting is we're here to provide direction as to what we want out of a KPMG audit, what the purpose of it is. And again, I can only reinforce that these 2 audits, one is auditing methodology, the other one, and expressing an opinion by KPMG as to whether or not we've followed our prescribed methodology. The other audit and the other opinion is one that says, hey, regardless of what methodology you've used, the presentation is fairly representative of the financial condition. So I say to the service and the board, what is the purpose that we want to have fulfilled by doing an audit? Do we want an audit of practices, or do we want an audit of our financial position? Thank you.
Any other member, Stewart?
Thank you, Chair, through you, but I think they're looking for some direction of some options for an audit. And I guess I've been here long enough to be at the time when we had our own audit. And then there was a move afoot to change to including our audit in the region's overall audit. And the only really audit we were getting back was on our special funds and such, that they were audited. Am I incorrect there?
Yeah, so we used to have a full audit where all our statements were represented
Right.
as you would any other statement, like the statement of the region. And then we went to not having a full audit, but we still audited, you still had the revenue and expenditures of the service audited, and that's what we had in 2015. So we didn't just totally not audit anything, you just audited the revenue, they just audited the revenue and expenditures of the state as presented to regional council. They didn't reformat them in a way to meet the methodology of the region. And I think that's what the regional staff, and we were always trying to say, because you budget based on these revenue expenditures in this format, we would assume you'd want it audited in the same way, because when you audit and change them, it doesn't make sense in comparison to what you budgeted. So what we asked for was to go back just comparing actuals to budget, not changing it all to the methodology, because we don't budget that way. We don't budget depreciation. We don't budget that way. It's all done in a consolidated statement at the region.
So I guess through you, Chair, my biggest just concern, and I sort of wish Woody was here for a minute, but just clarifying that as a board members, or as a board member and as board members, that as part of our oversight role, our will in this type of an audit and a separate audit of the policing thing, will we be able to fulfill our responsibilities in that area? Because I know there was some concern back in the board, and I know that at the time Todd Schultz was on the board, and he was a forensic accountant by trade or whatever it was, and he had some concerns with it all going at the regional level, and we're getting their reports back, as opposed to the relationship between the service and us, and therefore then going to the region if we've approved it. And I'm not sure I know the exact answer to that, and that's why maybe I need a little help on that. Just, are we able to fulfill our role doing this as board? Not as a service, but as the board in our oversight capacity. That would be my only concern.
Okay, so I'm going to ask for a motion of deferral of this, because I want to check with the region, and that would be the finance person that's not here, and see if what they are expecting out of us, option 1 or option 2 on this. And I'll have a conversation with the region about this and Member Barrick. So I can't make that motion. Can I ask for someone to make a motion? Member Caslin, Member Bonham, all those in favor? Carried. Okay. And that'll be to the December 21st meeting. We'll bring it back on that. Cool. Yep. So can you email the region and Dave included on this, please? Thank you.
Excuse me, Chair. Could we also, at the same time, perhaps get a comment from Woody or whatever it is, as to, not that he's a financial expert, but that our role under the Police Act for oversight would be fulfilled by whatever options, or whether both options, if fulfills it, that I'm okay with that.
Yep, Deb will do that, so we're good. So now, where's my sheet? Oh, this is it, okay. Any other business on this? Okay, this public meeting of finance is over, unless, Chief, you have anything?
No, I have nothing further, thank you.
Okay, so the next meeting will be the licensing at 11. Deb, do we expect a crowd for that?
It's hard to say.
Okay, we owe it to the taxi people to have them here at 11 o'clock when that starts, so we have a 20-minute gap, or 15, okay, thanks.